Neutral wall colors don't need to be boring and stale. There are some colors within the palette that are full of zest and do a great job at subtly bringing life to a space. Looking for a light neutral with some lovely warmth to it? Well, have I got the color for you. I'm James from thepaintpeople.com. We do several videos every single week on this channel, some about paint colors like this one, and other videos that are more so about the technical side of painting. This is Color Code, cracking the code on color selection. Here's where we discuss paint colors in detail, their undertones, and how to best use them in your home or your customers. If there are any colors you want featured on Color Code, don't forget to let us know down below. In fact, today's color was recommended by one of you. So thank you so much for your awesome recommendation. The color code we're cracking is T18-09, and it's by Behr Paint. Soft Focus is a pretty light neutral that has a delicate and elegant feel to it. While it can be classified as a gray, it would be on the very edge between gray and beige. When you see it, it almost has a creaminess to it that comes across as very inviting. On the neutral scale, we do see that it's a warmer color, but not so much that it'll clash with cooler tones. Its tinge of beige adds a level of comfort to the space it's used in, and it really complements any similar tones in your furniture. If you love lighter browns, taupes, and creamy color palettes, this wall color should suit you just fine. Soft Focus has a pretty high LRV at 75, and this would classify it as an off-white. In extremely bright areas, it's light enough that it could feel washed out a bit and will seem pretty muted. Against truly white trim and woodwork, there should be enough contrast so it'll distinguish itself as an actual color rather than being a creamy white. Being a greige that's perhaps a touch more beige than gray, it'll be impacted by other colors it's surrounded by. If you use more grays within the space, you'll see more of the beige in Soft Focus, and vice versa. If you wanted to see a bit more gray on your walls, then your accents within the room would need to have more of those warmer pops of color. Where are some of the best places to use it? We have a great light neutral in Soft Focus, which means I would label it as main color caliber. You could put this throughout an entire house for a bit of a clean slate look. I find it works a bit better with brown hardwood flooring compared to cooler gray vinyl flooring, for example. If your home is overly modern and monochromatic, I would personally go with something a little more towards the grays. But if you insist on using Soft Focus, do it selectively and use it in your cozier rooms like family rooms or even bedrooms. Another great use for Soft Focus would be on kitchen cabinets. It gives off a real elegance because of its light, velvety look. The warmth keeps it inviting, and the gray aspect makes your cabinets easier to maintain, because if you've ever tried keeping stark white cabinets clean, it's a bit of a to-do. Let me tell you. What colors should you pair it with? Soft Focus is right on the cusp of being too close to your potential trim color because it's an off-white itself. I would stay away from cooler whites and stick to something like Polar Bear by Behr. It is a bright white, brighter than it seems online, but it's not as cool as some of the pre-mixed whites out there. That hint of warmth will play nicely off of Soft Focus rather than fighting against it. Behr's pre-mixed white, for example, is a bit closer to a very, very light gray, which could also work as long as you're okay with showcasing more beige on the walls. What are some alternatives? Behr makes a very similar color in Alpine Frost. With a nearly identical LRV, it's maybe a hair darker than Soft Focus. The only real difference, however, is that it dials up the green and blue in it, which gives it a touch more of a gray feel. It's still a warm neutral, by all accounts, but it would complement grays and greens a bit more compared to Soft Focus, which meshes well with your browns, reds, and taupes. If you wanted something similar to Soft Focus in the Benjamin Moore color palette, for example, I'd recommend checking out Dove Wing. Just a bit lighter, Dove Wing is a fantastic light neutral that I've used quite a bit. Off-whites can be tricky to pick, so we created this video discussing the intricacies of the off-white color palette. If you've made it this far, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate it greatly. That's it for this one. See you on the next one.